Welcome back to Section 2, What to Expect from Sierra Service Project and What SSP Expects of You. On page 6 of your handout, you will find an overview of what will happen when you arrive. Please follow along in this section as we walk through what to expect upon arrival on Sunday. After that, we will walk through the typical day and week at SSP. Let's take a look at Sunday first. Sunday can go by so quickly, but it is very important to setting the stage for the week. Please plan to arrive between 2 and 4 p.m. Arrival time is extremely important, and we want you to know why. Our staff await for groups to arrive each Sunday between 2 and 4. Arriving before 2 doesn't allow staff their full 28 hours of preparation and rest between volunteer weeks, and arriving after 4 means our Sunday activities are pushed later into the evening than we'd like, after everyone has already had a long day or two of travel. Official business doesn't start until all groups arrive, so please make your travel plans accordingly. If your group will have trouble arriving in this window, please call the SSP office so we can plan for this in advance. Once everyone arrives, SSP staff will host a welcome and orientation time. They will introduce themselves, go over the week's schedule, SSP safety policies, and other important information about the week. Then, youth volunteers will do some fun icebreakers and get to know one another, while SSP staff and adult counselors have their first staff counselor meeting. During this meeting, the site director will share details and expectations for the week, and counselors will have the opportunity to ask any questions they have. This will be the longest staff counselor meeting of the week, but it is a great opportunity to get to know the other adults you'll be working with for the next 6 days. There will be a staff counselor meeting each day to share joys and concerns, as well as go over the activities and schedule for the next 24 hours. Construction staff will be present at this meeting to confirm some information they need to form work teams, as well as share about the projects they have planned for the week. They will ask about any prior construction experience that might be helpful, sibling or parent-child relationships, and any youth who should not be paired together. We also need to know which adults are driving which vehicles. Remember, no prior construction experience is required at SSP, but if you have any, we'd like to know. It is our goal to place adult counselors so that no new counselor is on their own in leading a team. After the meeting, everyone joins together for dinner, song time, and the announcement of work teams. Once all teams have been revealed, everyone has a chance to introduce themselves to their team members and learn about the project they'll be doing that week. Let's talk for a minute about what an SSP work team looks like. These teams are typically made up of 2 adults and 5 or 6 youth, blended together to create a balanced team in terms of gender, age, and volunteers from different groups. Groups should plan to bring vehicles that can transport a team of 7 to and from the worksite. Sedans and trucks don't work well for this reason. Each work team will also assign jobs for each youth volunteer. Some will be in charge of the group's toolboxes, others will prepare the group's lunches, others will be in charge of keeping everyone hydrated, one will be in charge of documenting the group's experience, and finally, another will lead the group in spiritual lunchtime discussions. Every work team is different, and most end up very close by the end of the week. As the adult counselor, you may need to mediate minor conflicts that arise on the worksite and facilitate small group discussions to get the group comfortable with one another. SSP staff are prepared to help you do this as needed. At the end of Sunday evening, there will be a spiritual devotion led by staff, and then it's time for lights out. Following along in your handout, you'll find the typical daily and weekly schedules for each type of session hosted at SSP, by age group and trip length. Every location makes adjustments to the schedule as needed, but this is a general outline of what you can expect from your trip.
Spiritual awakening is a great way for youth and adults to center themselves before they start their long day of work. It is the only optional activity at SSP. Because we work so hard during the day, it's very important to fuel our bodies in the morning. After breakfast, the lunch makers from each work team make sandwiches. After the safety presentation on Monday, the staff will take teams out to the work site, where you'll be introduced to your homeowner and work project. After the first day, teams will go straight to the work site right after sandwiches are made. Each team will take their lunch break at the work site, with time for discussion of the day's theme. Teams will return to home base around 4 in the afternoon, where they will have time for showers and free time.
The Staff Counselor meeting is an opportunity to debrief joys, concerns, and questions from the past 24 hours and discuss the schedule, plan, and logistics for the next 24 hours. It's important counselors stay focused while the site director is sharing these details. We also know serving at SSP alongside youth of varying ages can be exhausting in many ways, so the Staff Counselor meeting is also intended to be a time for you to decompress and take a moment to breathe with your fellow adults.
Then a yummy home-cooked dinner. Each work team will have an assigned chore that will take place right after dinner. After community chores is program. The first part of program is singing for mail. We encourage your church to send packages and letters to all of your youth. The Spiritual Life Coordinator will create a program for every night based on the theme of the week. It will include singing, team building, discussion time, games, reflection, and a chance to get to know your tribal or community hosts, and will of course be packed with silly and serious times. After the evening program will be gamification time for the youth, plus a little free time.
Each day, one work team will be assigned the evening devotional as their daily chore. Commonly known as Evening Devo, this is intended to be an opportunity for youth to have a voice in the spiritual program during the week. The Spiritual Life Coordinator will meet with the team assigned to Evening Devo at least once ahead of time to go over what they'd like to do. Because it takes place before lights out, keep in mind this should be a quiet, reflective time. Teams might choose to read a verse, sing a song, read a poem, or tell a story. While it's important adult counselors guide as needed in the planning and presenting process, remember to make sure youth are the ones leading Evening Devo. This is their time.
And that's a day at SSP. Well, that covers the typical daily schedule. Every day at SSP holds its own traditions and growth opportunities. Monday night, work teams will report to the rest of the groups about what their project is and who their homeowners are.
On Tuesdays, we typically have a community speaker who will share it with the group about the culture and history of the area. It is important to remember that opportunities to engage with the culture of the local community exist throughout your whole time on site. Between all the hands-on work we do at SSP, it is important to have time to rest and rejuvenate our bodies. Depending on what location you are serving in, Wednesday morning might look like a few different things. Some sites do hands-on service learning activities with community organizations, either in work teams or as a large group. You'll learn about the region you're visiting and may have an opportunity to interact with community members you wouldn't otherwise at your work site. Other sites will spend Wednesday morning doing standard work on our home repair projects. In the early afternoon, volunteers caravan to a water site for a half day of swimming, games, relaxation, and a barbecue dinner. Sites not near a body of water will still break for the afternoon to do team building activities such as a hike or games before their barbecue.
Thursday night is traditionally a very powerful part of the week. Participants are given a wonderful spiritual opportunity to focus on where they are on their faith journey, and staff members usually share personal faith stories. This night will look like Friday night for the junior high SSP.
Friday night is a chance to wrap up the experience you've had on site, while looking ahead to consider how to take what you've learned home with you.
Saturday morning starts out with packing up, cleaning up, eating up, then it's time for historic photos, and photos, and then a few more photos. Then it's time to say goodbye. Groups are usually ready to leave around 10.